Hello and welcome to today's episode. I'm hoping that you guys had a fantastic holiday. I myself enjoyed myself. I was actually thinking twice about coming back to work because I had so much fun that I didn't want to come back from the holidays. But anyways, you have to come back to work. At the end of it all, a man has got to work. A man has got to work in order to eat. So back we are. And we are starting off this year with the new project, obviously, which we have been talking about. But I just decided that maybe it's time to get this thing cleaned up. Rats have been staying in the engine bay and many other parts of this car, so I know I just put some rat poison all over so that we get rid of those funny pests, so that we get rid of those pests. So that has been done. Now I just want to get it cleaned up so that when we are working on it, we're working on something which is clean, something which doesn't have which is not dirty and grimy, as you just saw. So that's pretty much what I'm all about. I need to move this car up the driveway. Unfortunately there isn't power today, so I can't wash it with a pressure washer, but I really wanted to do that. But we'll be able to wash bits and pieces of it, and we can get it clean until such time when we've got power. Then we can pretty much hit it with the pressure washer. So just for you guys to give you likely timelines as to when we might get this project completed is it's hard for me to actually say when exactly, because you see what's happening is most of these companies that produce parts for oddball projects like the one you said, they're not really stocking parts. So whatever you're ordering, you have to pay them first, and you have to wait for a couple of weeks for them to actually produce your part or produce whatever that you want. So what we require is a head gasket, and some head bolts. The head gasket, we have been told that the earliest that we're going to get it is 8 weeks from now. So I know I was on the phone with there's a lady I was talking to on the phone just this morning, and she said likely 8 to 12 weeks. So that's probably when we're going to get the head gasket, because remember we're going to go forced induction. So what we are simply going to be doing on that engine is I'm going to be changing from the graphite head gasket to the multi-layer steel one, and also we're going to be forging the internals. So some of the components have already arrived. We already got the rods, H-beam rods. They already came through. We're just waiting for the pistons, which I think will arrive in a couple of days from now. Unfortunately, not days, I mean maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. Unfortunately, like I said, I think I mentioned that in the last video, that unfortunately I only discovered that I've got the engine which has got skinny rods, so I have to upgrade those things in order to achieve the kind of power that I want to achieve from the engine. So after bringing it up here, you can see the car is clean. We try to do a good job to clean inside. So we pretty much removed all the carpets, and I know it had a funny smell inside, like rats were actually staying in here for some reason. So it had a funny smell that has been cleared. You can see it's pretty much clean. There is nothing in this car. So what we want to do next is obviously the seats are out. I just want to pressure wash them with hot water, my pressure washer, and some very heavy duty degreaser. That's what I want to do. But unfortunately, because we've had issues of water cuts happening, I think it's a very common occurrence in Zimbabwe, so there's no way I can do that. I don't have pressure water running out the tape, so I'm just waiting for the local authorities to sort that out, and then we can start cleaning the interior seats. I really want to wash them with a pressure washer because I think they will yield the result that I want. But pretty much you can see it is clean in here, and yeah, it's pretty much clean. So whilst we're waiting for all this to happen, somebody came up with a very interesting post which they said they probably got the fastest progress. It's a JDM car, and no one with an Altezza is capable of beating them. If they beat them, you know, pretty much they take the car, something like that. So I decided to accept that challenge. So I'm going to be taking the grey Altezza. I'm going to be going for that challenge, and this is going to be interesting. So when we phoned the guy, it pretty much seemed he wanted to, I mean, he's so sure of himself to a point that he said, you have to make sure you bring the registration, because he's so sure he's going to get our car. I don't think that's going to happen. and I think he's going to receive the shock of his life. At the same time, I thought it would be better to actually give him a better option of, which is what I'm going to do anyway. When we get there, we're just going to give him an option to buy us drinks, right? Anyway, some news. The engine for the Mark II is back, as you can see. We just need to assemble it. We're probably gonna do it today or tomorrow, but I'm thinking by Monday, 3 days from now. I think we should be done with it. It should be driving, and it should get out, because we want the brevis to actually come inside, and then we can begin work. Anyways, I did have a look at the bearings. You know, they gave me the bearings, and just looking at them, talking about the bearings which they removed, they look fine, you know. They look fine, and honestly, I am really baffled at how this could happen, actually. Because you can look at the mains, they're pretty much as good as, you know, maybe only just that one from the cylinder number 1 is the one that had issues. Again, I guess that issue of oil starvation, as I mentioned in the previous video. So anyways, that's all that is to the news for the Mark II. Probably in 3 days you should be driving. That's the story. So he ended up not showing up at all. Probably somebody tipped him off, but anyway, that's okay still. It would have been hilarious. I mean, I to just see his reaction, you know. But anyways, we ended up, you know, there was a Subaru which was on the track, and there was also a Supra which was on the track, and we ended up doing a couple of pulls, even though the road was wet, but it was pretty much fun. I want to mention that I was surprised with how much the car was pulling. Compared to the Supra, which had a sequential transmission. Unfortunately, some of the footages were not properly taken by the person who was holding the camera, but I mean, you can see from a video that you're going to see from one of the videos that there's a point that the Altezza leaves the curve,
and the Supra follows, but as it follows, the Altezza is already gone. It is like disappeared. That is just shows, even as it passes the camera, it actually shows just how much that car was pulling. On a straight, I was really amazed with how the car was really behaving compared to something that has been fully built for the track.